friends, today I'm going to share with you a couple of different curriculums that we have used in our homeschool that did not work well for us and I am not planning to buy ever again. Now, the heart behind this video might actually surprise you. This is not a video where I'm coming at these curriculum companies or telling you should not use these specific curriculums. No, I actually know how much hard work and effort goes into creating these curriculums, and I know personally different families or individuals who have used all of these curriculums and had great success. I'm here to tell you why these aren't a good fit for our family, so that one, it might help you with your curriculum decisions in the future, and two, so it can be an encouragement to you as a homeschooling parent who probably, if you haven't already, is one day going to come across a curriculum that you financially invested in but doesn't work for your family. It's okay, it happens to all of us. This video is done in collaboration with my friend Wendy over at Plan Prep Pray and my friend Kristen over at Pearls and Oak. All three of us are going to be sharing the curriculums that we probably wouldn't buy again and giving you those reasons so you can make a more confident decision. Let's get started. First up is a wildly popular curriculum, and that is how to teach your child to read in 100 easy lessons. This curriculum has been around for years, and the thing that people tend to love about it is the fact that it is open and go. The fact that it is just really clear cut, and honestly, the fact that it's a little dry is often why I find people really enjoy the program. They don't want all the extra frills or all the extra fluff. They don't want games or all of those different elements. For me, teaching 4 readers back to back, because I had 4 kids in 4 years, that dryness factor was a major deterrent for us because it was already hard to teach 4 kids back to back how to read, and then adding the lack of any fun, excitement, or color to the program really made it a struggle for me as a parent and a teacher to be motivated and kind of getting them excited about reading. But the dryness for me wasn't the only factor that made this the wrong fit for us. It was also the fact that it didn't have enough repetition for my kiddos, especially those who struggle with dyslexia. They need a lot more repetition than the average student, and it just wasn't within the curriculum. And the third thing that made it not a great fit for us and our family was the use of the dots and the lines that the program utilizes to help guide the child through that practice in reading. I really did appreciate those guides, and my kids actually did learn to blend better with those guides. However, I found that they couldn't translate that skill when they went into other books or other materials because they were looking for those guides to constantly be there, and it kind of tripped them up when it wasn't. Now, again, my kids do have specific learning needs. They have dyslexia, they have struggles with reading, and many of them have been delayed in their reading skills. So I understand that's our specific situation, but if you fall into this category, you might want to reconsider this curriculum as well. Next up is discovering God's way of handling money. Now, this is done by Crown Ministries, and I have done Crown Ministries adult curriculum and really enjoyed it. So when I found out they had one for teens directly targeted towards middle school and high school, I was so excited to jump into this with my kids. I actually decided to do this as part of our homeschool co-op, so I was teaching a large group of kids all about how to use money God's way. Or at least that was my intention. So the first thing that made this something I wouldn't purchase again is I felt like some of the information was a little outdated. Yes, it teaches important skills, and yes, even if things are not super common nowadays, they are important to teach. But there was a lot of emphasis put on things like how to fill out a deposit slip. I can't think of the last time I filled out a deposit slip to deposit anything in my bank account. There was also a lot of things when it came to even building your resume or other things where there has been more research or more information, or things have just changed to make things a little bit more relevant to today's scenarios. And this is definitely the same kind of stuff that I learned when I was in high school. Again, not that I think it's wrong to take time to teach kids how to make checks or to balance a checkbook, but there were some areas where I wish they would have added in some more new updated information. The second thing that just didn't kind of work with us for this curriculum is the fact that there was a couple of sections where I didn't love the way they handled things from a biblical perspective. One of the things when they were talking about how God is the owner of all things, they had the kids do this deed activity. And so it says to help you understand God's ownership of your possession, you're going to transfer them to him. And I didn't have my kids participate in this activity because while I understood the heart behind it, it felt very much like it's something we can transfer to him. Like it is ours and we're going to give it to him or dedicate it to him, instead of recognizing it was always his to begin with and we have to understand our place in that. Now that might sound nitpicky, but that's just one example of multiple different activities or things that they did within the program that just didn't sit quite right with me, and reasons why I adapted. I took a lot out of the curriculum and I added my own activities that fit better with our family's values and my desires when it came to teaching my kids money. The third thing with this program was honestly that it just wasn't that interesting to my teens. While they were interested in the topic, they actually tended to enjoy more of the things that I added into the curriculum, other resources that I utilized, other tools that we utilized to make it a more hands-on experience or more updated than they did the actual book. Now again, that doesn't mean this is a bad curriculum. It just wasn't a great fit for us, and because of that, I think there are better curriculums out there. Honestly, if I was looking at now, I would definitely go to the Not Consumed Consumer Math by far over this book, because it teaches about money from a biblical worldview. It's more thorough and definitely more engaging and updated. My third choice might surprise you, as it is one of the most popular curriculums out there, and I actually really do love this curriculum. This is not one of those situations where I felt like the material was presented in a dry way, and that is Sunlight. So Sunlight is a heavily based literature program that teaches things like history and literature and Bible and more through amazing books. I still go to the Sunlight reading list to pick my book picks for the next year when it comes to our read alouds and our assigned readers. But ultimately, it's not something that worked well for me as a student when I was homeschooled or as a teacher. Let me explain. One is it is so heavily based on reading, and specifically in assigning mom reading to the kids, that it was really hard to keep up with, especially with our family circumstances where my daughter has a lot of medical needs, and at any given point, I could be pulled out of the home for a couple of days, even up to a couple of weeks. That just made it really hard to stay on track. It also has great discussion questions that are involved within the curriculum for you to talk through with your kids. I loved that, but again, it required me to be involved for that aspect. The second big thing with the Sunlight curriculum was the fact that it's really designed to be done over a span of ages, but not over an entire span of all the ages. So we have 4 kids that are very close together in age, and then we have a big 5-year gap, and then my 2 last little ones. And so there was no curriculum for Sunlight that really spanned that entire age gap, which means that the demand on the teacher that was involved for my kiddos was going to be doubled if I wanted to keep up with the program and have it work for both of them, especially as my older ones started to move into middle school. And even in middle school, I felt like it was fairly demanding on the teacher. Now, that being said, I will say I could see myself in the future buying Sunlight for high school only, specifically for their British literature program. That was one that I did in high school that I really enjoyed, and it is done pretty much independently by the student, because in high school, obviously, you can handle more of that responsibility. I still love Sunlight. There's so many great things about it, but if you want to hear more about my thoughts on Sunlight and specifically what I found with the curriculum, you can check out this video here.